What if I told you that changing a single word could make someone more likely to agree to a major surgery? It's true. The words we pick have this surprising, almost hidden power to change minds, and often in ways we don't even see coming. So, let's get into how that works.
Let's just dive right into a real-world example to see how incredibly powerful this can be. And this isn't just some abstract theory. We're talking about things that can have life or death consequences.
So check this out. Psychologists gave people a choice about a medical procedure. One group heard it has a 90% survival rate. The other group, they were told it has a 10% mortality rate. Now, logically, that's the exact same information, right? But the result was staggering. Way more people agreed to the surgery when they heard the positive frame.
And this isn't just some weird medical quirk. This idea, which is called framing, is absolutely everywhere. Think about it. We'd much rather get a discount for cash than have to pay a surcharge for credit, even if the final price is identical. And get this, studies have shown that ground beef literally tastes better to people when the label says 75% lean instead of 25% fat. Same exact meat, but a totally different experience.
Okay, so this is clearly powerful stuff. But how do we go from being accidental persuaders to actually being intentional about it? Well, it all starts with a really fundamental shift in your mindset, a secret that all the great writers seem to understand.
The secret is empathy. It's a simple idea, but it's so profound. You have to stop thinking about writing as just expressing yourself and start thinking of it as creating an experience for your reader. Your real goal is to give them a gift, the gift of clarity.
You know, the legendary lawyer John W. Davis absolutely nailed this. He said that great advocacy isn't about being the loudest person in the room, it's about consciously and deliberately angling for the judicial mind. In other words, you're figuring out what attracts your audience and actively avoiding what repels them.
And to do that, you got to get specific. You have to ask real questions. Is your reader an editor who's already looked at 50 other submissions this week? Are they scrolling through your email on their phone while trying to make coffee? Understanding their world, their context, changes everything about how you should be writing for them.
All right, so with that empathetic mindset locked in, let's get really practical. Here are 3 powerful techniques, power moves really, that you can start using right away to make your writing way more persuasive. This is your toolkit.
We've all been there, right? Staring at a slide or a report that's just a wall of data, and your eyes just completely glaze over. So our first power move is a fantastic technique called unnumbing the numbers.
Okay, take a scientific paper that's trying to explain how complex modern drugs are. Instead of starting with all the jargon, it starts with an analogy that anyone can get. Imagine an aspirin is like a bicycle. Simple.
And then it just builds on that. A small biologic drug, which is more complex, is like a Toyota Prius. Okay, that's a clear step up, but it's still totally relatable.
And finally, a large biologic? That is an F-16 fighter jet. Bicycle, Prius, fighter jet. And boom! Just like that, in 3 simple steps, the author has created this vivid, unforgettable scale. They've taken a really abstract concept and made it concrete, something you can almost feel. Now, making an idea understandable, that's one thing. But how do you make it stick? How do you make it unforgettable? The answer lies in one of the most powerful patterns in all of human communication, the rule of 3.
There's a really good reason this pattern pops up everywhere. I mean, from the Declaration of Independence to Target's slogan for their gift cards, all the way to Stanford Business School's mission. The rhythm of 3 is just satisfying. Our brains love it, it feels complete, it's memorable, and it's incredibly persuasive. Okay, for our final power move, let's talk about cutting through all the noise. In a world just full of generic text, how do you make yourself sound like an actual human being? The secret is a technique called the power of the particular. Just picture a resume. Anyone can write interests, reading, exercise, food. It's so generic, it's basically invisible. But what if you read interests, Don Quixote, yoga, hot dogs? Whoa! Suddenly, that's not a set of data points, that's a person. Those specifics aren't just memorable, they're human. They create an instant connection. You've written a sentence that literally nobody else could have written.
Now, it's really easy to look at all these techniques and think, okay, that's great, but you've got to be some kind of born genius to do this. But the truth, as all the pros know, is actually way more encouraging than that.
I mean, listen to Ernest Hemingway, of all people. He famously said that he wrote 1 page of masterpiece to 91 pages of shit. The lesson there is huge. Writing isn't some magical flash of inspiration. It's a messy process of struggle, revision, and having the courage to throw away the 91 pages to find the one that actually works.
But it's not just about practicing mindlessly. The real key to getting better is what the psychologist K. Anders Ericsson called deliberate practice. This is practice that's super focused, that pushes you just a little bit outside of your comfort zone, and that's done systematically, over and over. That's how you build a real skill.
So why does any of this really matter? Because becoming a better writer isn't just about persuading other people. The ultimate goal, the real secret, is that it's about clarifying your own thinking.
Stephen King said it perfectly. The paragraph, not the sentence, is the basic unit of writing. Think about that. When you learn to structure a paragraph, you're not just moving words around. You're learning how to structure your thoughts. You're building a coherent idea and turning mere words into actual meaningful logic. So let me leave you with a final challenge. Think about a subject you write about all the time. Maybe one where you tend to be a little vague or unparticular. How could you infuse that with specific human details? What is the Don Quixote, yoga, hot dogs version of what you're trying to say? Finding that answer, that's your first step toward truly powerful writing.